Hello, my wonderful friends and brothers and sisters in Christ. God bless you. How's everybody doing? Oh my goodness, there it goes. You see what I did there? I thought I had that muted. I guess I was wrong. Well, this is obviously no high production thing going on here. Hello, St. Tommy. God bless you, my friend. It's so good to see you. Glad to see you. I'm just going to be making a little bit of a social comment here and going over some stuff that I think is pretty comical, but I think is at the same time a little bit sad, man. I gotta say, I'm a fan of people. I love people. I'm a fan of women. I think women are just wonderful creatures of God. I think my brothers are wonderful creatures of God. We all have our talents. We all have our values to one another, no matter what we are. But God made it. God made a natural order, and I don't want to put this in such a way as to make anybody think that I'm saying that, a woman should stay barefoot and pregnant. I'm certainly not implying anything of the sort. But there are still certain standards and norms that I would expect a progressive society to respect. When it comes to this woke stuff, man, I got to admit I'm a little bit confused. I think the woke people have painted themselves into a corner, man. They're in trouble. I think their little heads are about to explode. They're going insane. What am I talking about? I remember from the time I was a kid, I stood for equal rights for everybody. I didn't care who they were. I grew up around the time of Martin Luther King and Bobby Kennedy and women's rights, civil rights. I was all for all of it, equal pay for women, equal pay for equal jobs. Yeah, sure. Everybody treated the same under the law. Yeah, sure. I'm all for that. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you are. But there's still certain norms and standards that we've got to just cling to, or else society, man, is just going to go astray. And it's not just going to go astray. Once it goes astray, if it's not checked, if it's not straightened out, it's going to go insane. And then it's going to go extinct. And I think we're on that road. I'm going to be showing you guys something here in a couple of minutes. I don't know if anybody's going to drop in or not. It doesn't matter either way. People will see it later, and that's fine. And maybe no one will ever see it at all. I don't know. I don't care. I got to speak on these things, man. I've got to. Somebody's got to stand for the women. And right now, women are being turned into second-class citizens within their own sex, within their own gender. They're being turned into second-class citizens. I know a lot of people haven't been keeping up with this. And I don't blame you, because this stuff is sickening. There's a lot better things to watch. There's a lot better things to brush up on. And I'd hate to see any of you guys have to waste your time on this stuff. But I do want to show you some things that you should be aware of. And you really should be aware of these things. These are things that are happening in society right now. And if we're not careful, this thing is about to get out of control. Women are in serious trouble. I don't think you realize because I didn't realize what was going on until I really started to study up on this. Really started to look at this. But now it's bothering me. Women are getting the crap beat out of them in women's sports. And there's nothing they can do about it. Women are being invaded in their own bathrooms with terrible things like men going in there and just gawking at them, staring at them. One was caught literally, pardon me, but pleasuring himself in the women's bathroom just recently, arrested for it. And we're not supposed to be upset about these things? Are you kidding me? We're not supposed to have an opinion about this? I have daughters. I have granddaughters. Look, I don't blame the whole trans community or the LGBT community on this. I don't, because this is just a radical few that's doing all this, but they are changing society. They are making unprecedented moves and taking us into dangerous directions. I'm going to show you some pictures here. I'm going to show you some. Look, I went to this. I'm going to share this with you. Bear with me a moment. I'm going to pull up some pictures for you. I want to show you a guy that goes by the name of Fallon Fox. Okay. Now, Fallon Fox is a guy. Fallon Fox is a dude. He has gone through, I don't know, some form of quote unquote transitioning. Can you guys see this? This is a dude. His name is Fallon Fox. Fallon Fox was an MMA fighter. Now, let's look here. See this real woman right here? Fallon Fox beat the crap out of this woman. Busted her skull. She really didn't stand a chance. Didn't stand a chance at all. Look at the guns on that thing, man. Look at these ripples. My goodness. I'm sorry. Look at the shoulders. You see, men have a larger bone structure, more denser bones. Men have a superior physiology. Men have a superior cardiovascular system, greater lung capacity. Men are bigger and stronger and faster. And that's what happens when men beat on women. There he is again. Look at the guns on that guy. Look at that war face, man. He's ready to kick some lady butt. The thing is, he wasn't much of a fighter when he had to fight men. As a man, he's a failed fighter. Here he is again in the green. And look at this chick over here. There's a real woman against a real man, and she is being forced to fight him because they said so. Right? Women are being forced to fight men because they say so. Women are forced to, if this happened in the home or in the street, these guys go to prison. These guys would go to jail. So, who are these sports commissions that are letting this happen? It's absolutely ridiculous. Girls don't have a chance against guys like this. You can be an inferior fighter if you're a man and have a horrible record. But doggone it, you're going to be the number one woman fighter. We have the same thing going on in swimming. Swimmers being forced to, lady swimmers, women's swimming teams being forced to compete against men. How fair is that? Same thing going on, superior size, strength, and speed. Oh, this is, I could take this to extremes and show you some really ugly stuff, but I don't want to do that because some of it, it's just too ugly. And I mean that sincerely. I could take you to several places and show you women that were hospitalized, women that were playing volleyball and got smashed in the face by the guys. Just boom. There was a little old girl when she was 12 years old. She got her arm bit off by a shark. Nearly died, and she was a surfer. She went on to become one of the greatest lady surfers ever. Now, here she is, a young girl who's turned professional, disadvantaged anyway by the shark. But she doesn't let that slow her down. She doesn't let that disadvantage her. And she got out there and she excelled. She became like one of the top female surfers, big attraction. Everybody was her fan. Heck, I'm her fan. But she quit surfing competition in her prime because she's being made to compete against men in the women's surfing division. And she just ain't going to do it. I applaud you. I support you 100%. I just wish you didn't have to do this. This society's gone insane. Look, I'm going to tell you how dirty this is getting, and I mean this. These guys are literally, and you can look them up. I could give you the link. I ain't going to give you the links for them. I've looked them up myself. I've spent hours and hours and hours and hours going through this for days till I'm sick of it. I'm just sick of it. But there are actually men out there that are undergoing these alleged transitions, actually turning themselves into a eunuch is all they're doing. And they're making videos about how their sex is superior to that of a real woman. And they mean it. And it's not just one, it's many that are doing that. And they're doing it in community. They're doing it together. I mean, this is big, man. This is going on. This is blowing up. So the response against this has to start blowing up. Somebody's got to speak some common sense. This is just ridiculous. Pardon me while I check over here real quick. I got to see if. Hello, my friend. And there is my brother at Good News Gospel. How the West was lost, and it took less than a generation. Maranatha, my brother. Bill, jump on in here, man. I got some stuff that'll blow your mind. Tommy, jump on in, man. You know you're welcome here. You know you're my brother. You know I love you, guys. I just love you to pieces, man. And I know that you're in a situation where you can't say a lot, my good brother. You see, I'm trying to speak out and change a few things while I can before we're where you are. But somebody has to speak a little common sense and come against this crap. And I think it's in the hands of the Christians. It behooves us to stand for common sense. Luckily, women are starting to speak out because they're getting offended by all this stuff. And what's insane is the woke, who were once defenders and champions of women's rights, allegedly. That's the story they tell. The woke have abandoned their dedication to secure rights for women. Now they're wanting to secure rights for what they call cis women, CISWOMEN. Cis women. You see, they can't use the term real women, but that's what they're referring to when they use the term cis women. And why can't they use the term real woman? Because real woman is too true. Well, brother, I'm glad to hear that. Even the lefties were up in arms in Oxford the other day. I don't know what it was over, brother, but I'm glad to hear it, man. It sounds like something that needed to happen. You know, we got a lot of things right here that need to happen. Look what's going on right now, man. What's scaring me is when they use the term cis women, they are dehumanizing women. They are pretending like anybody can be a woman. Women are great things. Women are great creatures of God. In their own ways, superior. But they certainly can't compete against men. Nor is it fair to women for men to be putting out videos saying that they are sexually more desirable than real women. Nor is it fair to them to call these men women, which is what they demand we do. Oh, no, you're misgendering me. No, I'm not. You misgendered yourself. I've got a brother that's calling. Let me stop sharing for a second and accept this. And hello, brother. Hello, brother. Oh, well. That went away. At any rate, where were we? Oh, yeah. The dehumanizing. Okay, what's this now? Oxford is going to be sectioned up into 6 parts. You can drive out your part 100 times. Wow. Absolutely amazing. Oh my gosh, man. What a horrible thing. So you see what's happening to Brother Bill here? You see what's going on in England, in the UK? They've got a law going into effect now. Or I guess, I don't know if it's gone into effect, Bill, or they're just threatening it or what. But at any rate, Oxford has been cut up into 6 parts. You can only drive out of your part 100 times per year. And then if you need to travel more after that, you're going to have to start buying permits. Wow. You can only go out of your part 100 times a year. What in the world would they be wanting to regulate that for? And he goes on to say, yep. And the latest news from the UK is the government anti-terror organization is keeping tags on anyone who buys books like 1984, Animal Farm, Brave New World, and Soylent Green. Complete news blackout on that one. And it's the green agenda. Brother, that's just amazing. I'm totally amazed at society right now. Western society sucks. Western society is devolving. Western society is dying. It's crumbling all around us. And it's crumbling at an exponentially quick rate, my friend. Disintegration is about to happen really, really fast. So how long is it going to be that women's rights are trumped by fake women's rights, by trans women's rights? Well, brother, we've lost the battle, but the war is not over yet. And you know something, brother? Here's the word that I get from God. Because this is what the scripture says. This is thus saith the Lord. We better know we're in a battle, huh? We better know we're in a war. Because we are in a war. But don't expect to be unscathed. Because I'll tell you what's going to happen. It's given into the hands of the evil ones to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And I suggest people buy these old books too, because, you know, they're fixing to burn them. I can guarantee you. If you got 84 or Soylent Green or anything like that, Animal Farm, buy them up. Pass them out. But, you know, I don't know what good it would end up doing in the long run, but, you know, a little more victories keep us strong, don't they? So, you see, society's evaporating, my friend. Its sanity is gone. The scriptures tell us that because there's so much going on, that the nations became mad. That's a prophecy. If this isn't madness, I don't know what is. If God did not tell us the truth, I don't know what that is. It sure ain't no coincidence God didn't get all this right 2,000 years ago, 3,500 years ago by coincidence. I can guarantee you every bit of this is spot on. Right down to Israel becoming a nation, the impossible. And May 14th, 1948, after 2,000 years of being dispersed throughout the world. It's never happened to any other nation before, and it will never happen to any other nation again. That was totally unique. Atheists are the woke. And the Bible will be canceled. The Bible is canceled, brother. The Bible is canceled. But you see, it's given into their hands. These times, these seasons, and even the church. We're given into their hand for a while, so yeah, we better know we're in a fight. But I'll tell you what, there's going to be many different kinds of people in this fight. And many different outcomes for people in this fight. This is not a cookie-cut thing. Just like in the days of the captivities, things were never cookie-cut. They didn't have, the majority of the people that were carried away, man, a lot of them were, some of them might have been killed, some of them probably died, some of them were, like you had Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Sure, they God wouldn't let them burn. Christ walked with them in that fire. But there were other people that died. Revelation talks about the people that are going to die. There's going to be a lot of martyrs. We're going to be robbed. We're going to be imprisoned. We're going to be robbed. These things are coming. Now, I'm not fear-mongering because I'm not afraid. You shouldn't be afraid either. My course of action has to be a bold one because some of you can't do what I'm doing. I'm trying to save women in the West right now. Right now, we're in this thing right here where men are competing against women in all these sports. I want to read something to you here. Now, you see this right here? This is a dude. I don't know. I think I quit screen sharing. Okay, let me screen share again. I want to show you this, and then I want to read you something. I want to show you something else that I'm doing. You're right, brother. God is not going to stand for much longer. His patience is wearing out. But I want to show you guys this. Brother Bill, you want to come in here? You're very welcome to come in here. And we can combine the message of this broadcast and make it speak out on both issues. But I want to show you something here. This is something that I put up on Facebook earlier. Okay. Yes, I'm trolling. Yes, I'm trolling woke sites. This is a group full of woke atheists. This is one of my posts there. The ridiculous thought that women can compete against women when we let men into women's sports now has scientific papers to support the fact that the men in women's sports are indeed bigger, faster, and stronger than women. And it sucks that it is now legal for men to beat up women. To the point. But here's what this article said. Now, this is a scientific article. Okay, this is an article that you find in a peer-reviewed magazine. And it says, trans women elite athletes. The extra percentage relative to female physiology. In other words, they're talking about men participating against women. Now, look what it says. Without the sex division, females would have little chance of winning because males are faster, stronger, and have greater endurance capacity. Male physiology underpins their better athletic performance, including increased muscle mass and strength, stronger bones, different skeletal structure, better adapted cardiorespiratory systems, and early developmental effects of brain networks that wires males to be inherently more competitive and aggressive. So these are things that they're admitting to in these papers. Now look at this. This one guy is defending it, and he's saying, but it's not saying, he did say this, it's not showing here, but he says, but it's not saying women shouldn't compete against women. You see, that's somebody that's woke. That's somebody that used to stand for women's rights. Oh, no, don't beat a woman. But now that it's fashionable for the woke, we have men saying, I feel like a woman, but I suck at my sport and I can't compete there, so I want to go over there and beat them up. And they're letting them do it. Well, this guy's justifying it. I said, way to go, champ. It's okay if it begins by telling you that men are faster and stronger, have higher endurance, their muscle mass is greater, bone density greater, and that women generally have no chance against men in fair competition. Now look at this. He answers back, this is a woke person for you that used to stand for women's rights. Look at the hypocrisy here. Try with the fact that at no point do they refer to them as men in the study. No, it calls them trans women, but they are men. Does it matter what they call them? If you have a rose in your hand, does it matter what you call it? Or does it cease to be a rose? No, these are men and these are women. And this is trans. And this is what the woke do. So I started laughing. I couldn't help at it. And I said, yes, people. Scheinhart actually said this. At no point did they refer to them as men in this study. No need to read further, and that's the truth. But he did refer to cis women. You see, this is what they're doing. What's he mean by cis women, huh? I'll tell you. See, he does it right here. Cis women. Just like cis women. What's he say? He says, bone density also decreases with trans women being at risk of osteoporosis, just like cis women. So here he's talking about trans women, and then he's comparing them to cis women. In other words, he's saying these men and comparing them with real women, but they can't say real women. They lost the word real from their vocabulary, because if they tell you these are real women, then, you know, they've got a problem. Because then they look like a bunch of jerks. Hello, Blessed Bible Fight Club. God bless you, my friend. How you doing? There's a link there. I believe it's pinned. I'll put it back in here again if anybody needs it. If you'd like to drop in, feel free to drop in. If you'd like to talk about this subject, or if you'd like to talk about what's going on in England right now and that 15-minute thing that's going on. Whatever you want to talk about, you are welcome to air your grievances. Brother, we love you. We're glad to see you, man. Feel free to jump in here. Anybody that disagrees with you, feel free to, voice your disagreement. But I think about everybody agrees that men have no business in women's MMA or women's swimming or women's volleyball or women's bathrooms or women's sports, period. Now, if they want to have a, men and women's chess league, sure, that's fine. Men and women's intersex checkers, sure, let's go for it. Men and women's intersex game of Risk, Chutes and Ladders, let's go for it. But MMA, swimming, I don't think so. Boxing, I don't think so. Why is it we don't see women in the NFL? Because even the best of women is going to get killed in the NFL. See, there's a reason for this. So look at him calling women cis women, CISWOMEN, comparing them to trans women. Now, I want to tell you something, people. You've got to realize that there are videos right now where they are saying, and man, I hate to be so plain about this, but they're saying that the trans imitation female sexual parts are superior to the real women's sexual parts. And these trans women are getting all the rights. Now, not only are they beating the crap out of the women in all these sports, but women are being robbed. Their legacies are being robbed. They're being robbed of their wins. They're being robbed of their prizes, their trophies, all the recognition that goes with every win that they lose to a trans person. All the money that goes with all that recognition, all the sponsorships that go with it. These women are being robbed and abused every way you can possibly look at this. And look, this is the left standing up for it. But thank God some of the women are getting offended by being called cis women and being compared to quote unquote trans women. In other words, men. And they're trying to fight back, but there's not very many people standing with them. I do. I've got to. I can't help it. Plus, there's more at risk here. Look at these laws, man. I mean, let's be honest. Yeah. Yeah, I'm totally fine with women-only mud wrestling. You know, John Candy was fine with intersex mud wrestling, and that was okay. You ever see the movie Stripes? That was fine. But here we're talking about women really getting the crap beat out of them legally. But you see, here are the woke taking up for this guy beating up this woman, this real woman, not a cis woman, a real woman. This man, not a trans woman, this man beating up this woman. Let's not dehumanize them and put them in some fairy tale classification that doesn't exist. But it goes on. I put this up earlier. To everyone who condones men in women's sports, how about you starting your own men's football league and let's wipe all the little kiddies off the little league field? How about that? Let's identify as 8-year-olds. We all suck at football. I'm 65 now. I can't run like I used to. I suck at football. How about you guys? I think we can handle a field of 8-year-olds. What do you think? Want to start our own team? You want to see what they say? Relevance to atheism? Yeah, I put this in another atheist thing because let's look. Atheists, this is the world you want. Woke people, this is the world you want. This is it. So I'm going to confront you on it. That's the relevance. I said my answer when he asked for the relevance. I can't make you admit that this is the result of a godless society. But this theist says it is. Now show me. Where it says that it's cool to beat the snot out of women. Now show me the Christian man that says it's cool to beat the snot out of women and break their skulls in an MMA ring. And I'll show you woke atheists that condone it. Ryan McGinnis and Brian Bummer and Keith Anderson. So this guy answers and he says, considering that gender is fluid, don't you just love that one? Like, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm a man. Now I'm a woman. Now I'm a man. Now I'm a woman. Now I'm in between. No. How ridiculous to say gender is fluid. Considering that gender is fluid. Now, there are some men that are very effeminate, that's for sure. They certainly have no masculinity. So you have men and you have women, but you have men that are very effeminate and you have women that are pretty masculine. But they are still masculine women and effeminate men. But they are not fluid gender fluid. They say everything else backward. I'll say that backward. And I answered, oh no, this other guy answers. And I don't know if I got to say anything to these guys yet. I may not have even seen that point. Okay, well, here's what I said. I got to go back and answer that crap. I don't know what it says. But it says, if gender is fluid, I want to see a real biological man turn into a real biological woman. Do you have proof that you're neither tripping nor insane? Ricardo answers back and he says, biological sex is not fluid. You seem confused. No, I'm not the one. I'm the one talking about biological sex here, a.k.a. gender. And I answered back and I said, I'm not confused at all. Do you defend biological men competing against real women just because they identify, whatever that is, as a woman? And he answers back, oh, you're certainly confused then, because if you weren't, you would know that my initial comment indicated that males should not compete with males and females. You should. My comment indicated males should compete with males. Oh, yeah. Males should compete with males and females should compete with females. By the way, it's kind of stupid to say biological male or female, considering there are no other kinds of male or female. So you see what he says here? He's calling me confused. And here he's saying it's stupid to refer to him as biological male and female because there's no other kinds of male and female. And yet they're going to say in the same breath, there are trans male and female. So, anyway, I answered him. I said, by the way, I quoted him. He said, by the way, it's kind of stupid to say biological male and female considering there's no other kinds of male and female. I said, And normally I would agree, but the woke forced me to clarify so they can understand. They seem to not know this. And we got a couple more comments from somebody over here. I have no idea. I don't know if I've even seen these yet. Oh, yeah. Somebody else asked me about relevance. So I said, relevance? How about no theist thinks a man should be in women's sports? That's a woke thing. Woke is an atheist thing. So let me check my StreamYard again. Oh, add to stream. There's my brother. How you doing, brother?
Hello.
Hey, pardon me for rambling on, man. How you doing?
Yeah, right. Not too bad. Yeah.
So tell me about this. Have they passed that any of these laws yet, or are these something that are
Well,
being?
yeah, they've done it all. That lot. They're supposed to be as public consultation, but their public consultation was let's get the public to hear their views, completely ignore their views, and go ahead with it anyway. And it's not just Oxford; it's Wolverhampton. It's scores of cities in Britain, and even my town stroke city. They had a meeting in secret a few months ago. Someone recorded it and even uploaded it on YouTube of them deciding we're going to be one of these new cities, which is stupid because they say it's for the environment and cut CO2 emissions, but that's a red herring right there. Because for me to go from where I live to visit my mum would take me it's about 2.5 miles just straight through on the road, right?
Yeah.
When these zones come in, I'll have to go from mine, go on the A12, drive nearly all the way around Colchester, probably a 7-8 mile round trip, then come back into Colchester and then get to my mum's, which would work out about 12 miles instead of 2.
Wow.
It is insane. It's nothing to do with saving the environment, and it's literally control. So they can have cameras on you 24/7, recording where you go, what you buy, what you do, absolutely everything. And yeah, we're talking dystopia, full-blown dystopia in Britain.
Bill, 20 years ago, would any of this have ever crossed your mind?
No, 20 years ago, none of this would.
No. Me neither. I never thought I would see America the shape it's in. I'm sure you feel the same way.
Yeah, but we're actually unusual because we're ahead of the game in this. America's usually trend sets with certain things, but now we're way ahead of the woke.
Yes, you are.
And the 6 mile zone cities, and we're way ahead.
Yeah. Well, if the woke get to stay in power, and I can guarantee you the Christians are going to be under similar laws like that.
There's nothing you can do because the woke has infiltrated all government, both main political parties and the 2 or 3 other smaller parties. I've got the exact same agenda that you can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
That's like because you have Democrats and Republicans, we have Conservative and Labour. And if you look at their policies, they're exactly the same. There's no difference apart from fiscal policies are slightly different.
Yeah.
But all their moral policies and all their green agenda policies, they are exactly the same. So you don't have a choice. It doesn't matter who you vote. They're going to implement that whether you like it or not.
Yeah, it's certainly a dangerous road. How you doing, Bruce?
Good. I see a Mac on the screen.
Yeah,
I do. I'm thinking about just becoming semi-woke, maybe. Well, I mean, okay, transvestite, just a little bit. I'm not sure I want the operation and all, but I was thinking I want to be able to sing like the Bee Gees. That's about.
That's a brother Bill Barb right there. I see what that is.
Yeah. No, I'll just inhale some helium and say good enough.
Yeah, that'd be good. And also, I don't know if you saw out there, we've got the anti-terror committee in this country. They're keeping tabs on people. Anyone who buys, and there's a whole list of books. Soylent Green, 1984, Animal Farm, and there's a whole list of books that, you know, if you purchase, you know, whether it's from Amazon or a bookstore, then they will then let this commission know what day and what book, you know, and who it was bought by. So, and that they're not going to make it illegal, but they're going to keep tabs on this. So you go on a special list.
Well, that's kind of a shame. What if you're buying a book just because you thought it was goofball and weird and you wanted to see what it actually had to say?
You don't care. Yeah, you'll be on that list.
Yeah.
So I recommend people, you know, again, sad that we even have to think like this in this day and age, but you're going to have to go to second-hand shops or boot sales that if you want to pick up these fine books now. The Bible will be next. We know the Bible's going to be next.
Amen. Yes, it will.
But, you know, you already get strange looks if you buy a Bible in this country anyway. But, you know.
Well, are they going to keep tabs on people buying books on, like, how to make fruit, how to be a fruit cake? No.
It's just there is a specific list. Yeah.
They'll ignore that.
Yeah, but
no, that's a shame.
It's gone mad. People don't realise what this country's like now. And it's getting worse daily. Like I said, a few years ago, you weren't allowed to mention a certain religion. Now you can't even buy, well, you can buy certain books, but they will keep their eye on you.
Yeah, I thought they were doing that here to some degree. I could be wrong. Maybe so. I often wondered about things he'd buy. I mean, there's certain books that I know are in question. Okay, let's say some kind of crazy cookbook or somewhere. I'll just keep the terminology out. But, you know, like radical nut jobs would be after, in my opinion. Maybe there's, anyhow. I've often heard some of that stuff they kept track of, and maybe I'm wrong.
Bruce, have you seen any of the things about Dearborn, Michigan?
No. Why are they going off again? The fundamentalist maniacs, maybe, let's say.
Yeah, it's well, they've pretty much taken over towns like Dearborn, and the what I find interesting is that they're still bringing in thousands and thousands and thousands of them at a time. They've kept this under wraps for a long time, but during the Obama administration, and actually clear back during the Bush administration, you had Bush, then Clinton, and Obama, and I don't think Trump, but certainly Biden is doing this, bringing in thousands and thousands at a time. We were bringing in over 10,000 a month from the refugee camps and stuff, and just shipping them all over the United States.
Do you know where I heard that started, though? And I might be wrong, but my understanding was, and it probably started, I'm just saying probably, with racism, with Ford, with Henry Ford. You know, that he didn't like Jews. And so apparently, that's my understanding, he was racist, they say. And so he brought in Muslims to work there. I don't know. I mean, it's worth looking up. Maybe I'm wrong, though. I mean, that's just what I've heard over the years.
Well, we're bringing ours in from the refugee camps.
Yeah. Well, my point is, and then it may have built from there and then turned into where they feel it's safe to take them there. I don't know.
Well, the thing is, our own intelligence organizations are reporting that at least 25% of them are militarized, and they hate the United States. They want to bring us down.
Well, that's really, really bad. That's why I said well, you know, the term fundamentalism after 9/11, people stopped using it so much, unfortunately. You know, it used to mean that you know, like somebody could say, well, I'm a fundamentalist Christian, you know.
Yeah.
And then it kind of dropped out of use after 9/11, they say, you know. And
I'll still say it, but you're right. You're right. It sure has dropped out of use.
Yeah, because you feel you don't well, and plus I think you don't want to be thought of as like what are the nut jobs in Waco? Or no, not Waco. Well, that was one group. I can't think of it. The Phelps family, the Westboro Baptist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to be thought of as that either, but
No.
not all fundamentalists were Westboro Baptist, and not all and fundamentalist Christians I don't think should be compared to radical Islam,
I agree.
But term
Yeah.
fell out of favor, it seems.
Yeah, it certainly has fallen out of favor.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
What's weird is these books, you're on a watch list for these books, okay? Yeah. I don't know, like I ever in America, like LGBT books and things like that. They're not waiting until you're like 15, 16. They've actually got books out for 2 to 4 year olds.
Yeah.
So it's okay from 2 years onwards to know about relationships and all the things they get up to. That's good and legal, yet 1984, dangerous. And this is how sick the world is now.
Yeah.
I'm glad I ain't God, because if I was God, I would have nuked us already.
Amen. Yeah, I pulled up a thing the other day. It was a news from mainstream news. This woman is transitioning. A mother is transitioning her 18-month-old son into a woman, into a girl. She's starting the process. She's actually now. Why does she even still have that kid?
That's
yeah. And this isn't just a one-off case, Brother Bruce. I can show you dozens and dozens of cases, just one right after another, where toddlers are being transitioned by their parents. I call that grooming. And then they're 5 and 6 and 7 and 8-year-old boys, 10, 12-year-old boys, modeling clothes as trans. And, these are parents that are supporting this thing. Now, up until the last, 15, 20 years, psychologists admitted that these things were brought on by emotional problems, that these people had one sort of a mental or emotional problem or another, some possibly many. And so we are taking advantage of the people with some real problems here to make a political statement. I think it's just horrible. But what it shows me is our governments are not looking after us. They're looking after an agenda, and there's a reason they're doing this to our society.
Well, roller derby will never be the same.
Isn't that the truth?
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That did fade away. Could you imagine guys rolling around with it? Like, changed the whole thing, It was kind of funny, but oh man.
Yeah, I asked this one fellow on there earlier, atheist I was talking to. I asked him, well, what are we going to do about all these women that are invading men's football and playing in the NFL now? They're taking all the big spots, making all the big money.
Oh, I'm terrible. You're talking about this stuff, and it makes me laugh because it reminds me when I was a kid. You're terrible. Nobody has to confess to this, or maybe I'm the oddball, but remember, I got going to school in the morning, and if I got up early, I'd have these morning exercise shows. Do you remember any of that, or do you guys have that on TV?
Yeah.
And so, like an idiot, as a kid, like you'd have to watch, but I don't think you'd watch now.
Oh, man.
Shut it off.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I'm being bad, but it does put a whole new spin on all that stuff. Yo, what's going on? I mean, it was bad enough, I guess. I wonder, like, was it women watching those exercise shows, or the young kids, or old men? Who the heck? I have no idea. But it surely would change with the whole trans thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
I know, terrible, terrible.
Well, there are also some. You know, this certainly isn't all, or even the majority. Just a small number of them, but some of these trans are like they'll get a boyfriend and won't tell them that they're really a boy. And oh my gosh, now I've got to imagine. I can't imagine being a man put in that situation, and all of a sudden you find out while you're kissing it. I'm sorry, kissing him, or you know, my gosh,
Could get
what
worse.
happens? What happens if he gets hand happy and then finds out something all of a sudden really quick, man? What kind of emotional thing is he going to undergo, or knee jerk reaction is he going to have? Oh my God! What what if a dude knocked him out, knocked him down the steps, not meaning to hurt him, but he killed him? I mean, these things could happen.
Well, yeah, it could be. Well, like Mick Dundee, I think he figured out how to figure that out.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Horrible. It is wacko, though. I mean, it was enough trouble just growing up, being somewhat, whatever normal you call it, right? Normal, unwoke.
Yeah.
And with this stuff going on, you're like, what? Wait a minute. Now the world's got all the more problems, you know?
I could go on and on with his with those woke responses, man. People saying, well, they're both women. They say trans women and cis women are both women. And they actually believe this. They fight for this. And I've been watching some debates lately too with real women, feminists. Some of them were lesbians that were fighting against the trans people calling themselves women and calling them cis women. They took absolute offense over that. They said, "You're not a real woman. You never will be." This is what the gay women were telling us. I mean, these debates were all over the place, man. You can find them on YouTube.
Oh, no, I don't.
I'm serious as a heart attack. Yeah. It's absolutely insane. But the funny thing is, these people that are woke once fought for women's right. Remember, just 4 years ago, they were dressing up like pink female sexual parts.
Yeah. Oh, that was irritating with the ears.
Yeah. So you have all these people supposedly defending women's rights, and now look at them defending women getting the crap beat out of them in women's sports by men. They're defending that for the sake of woke.
So can you imagine Hulk Hogan like entering the roller derby thing, and like it just like it was crazy enough as it was, but that does seem like it would be wrong.
Well, yes, it would be wrong with. Heck yes. And yeah. Oh my gosh.
Or Arnold Schwarzenegger getting in there when he was younger. You know, it's like, wait, hold on a second. That ain't right. Nah, crazy stuff it is.
Now, Bill's in that situation now. The people of England, man, they're about to just lose it all.
Well,
I think I can predict what will happen. Is that they will come up with this thing, this bill, and put it, debate it, and then they will compromise. So
Right.
you see, they take about 3 steps, and then they compromise and bring it back about a step or a step and a half. So they're actually only taking a step and a half or 2 steps ahead. But go ahead.
Well, do you think it's possible that? I mean, it could be just getting worse and worse and worse. I get that, but I do wonder if it gets crazy enough that people will, in a sense, rebel against the insanity. I'd like to hope that could happen.
Well, that's why they're pretty much pre-planned that that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They lock you up, martial law, come out your door, bang, dead. Right, there's your politics done. We're the next thing. We see it in Nazi Germany with started off subtle with the brown shirts, of course, and then you had obviously the night the broken glass, and it went downhill very rapidly. But it started little, didn't it? Started very little. But yeah, they're pretty much, and we're more sophisticated in Nazi Germany with surveillance cameras, drones, thought police, computers, AI, and everything else.
Right.
It's not hope in hell. The only hope is Christ. I think at that point, the only hope is Christ.
Yeah, kind of. I just ask they leave me alone, let me live my own life. Whatever
Well,
they want. Crazy.
Yeah, but no, they won't. They won't leave you alone, would they? Because by default, by certain defaults, you'll be charged as being an extremist. If you say, well, I'm a happily married Caucasian man, with kids, grandkids, etc., and then that's you bigot. You bigot. It's even just if you want to be left alone, just you being you bigot, you hater, and this is where it's done. Like the Jews, all they were was Jews. And then look at all the things you flippant octopus, you monster, you baby eater, and all these things, and then they killed 6 million of them. So they didn't do anything. I'm not doing anything. I'm white, heterosexual, married man. But I'm sure they think of a reason to.
Well, it's funny. I was thinking, terrible. I was just thinking about. Say there was like a parade going by, right? And went by down through town, and there was a couple gays on it, let's say, and they're swapping spit like all over each other, their tongues hanging out, crazy garbage. I mean, and not to be ignorant, but I could picture them doing that if they could. Then it would bug me, drive me nuts.
And they've already got like the test case one a few months ago where they arrested 2 people in this country for silent prayer.
But what I wanted to get at, though, is what dawned on me was that somebody said to me when I mentioned this that would really bother me, seeing this kind of homosexuality being portrayed that way and all perverse. Kids watching a parade and whatever. And then I thought, well, they said, well, what about heterosexuals? And then it dawned on me, well, generally speaking, they don't act that way. The homosexual will do that to try to draw attention to their whole, almost like somebody making a video there for Levi, if you remember that. Dressed like an old lady. Oh, never mind. Now I feel really bad. But anyhow, though, no, I couldn't put up with that as a parade, though, going by. It would drive me. Yeah, I just, man, what do? You can't do anything about it. But my point is, though, heterosexuals don't generally act like that, No, it's disgusting to me, And I certainly wouldn't want kids to have to sit and watch that garbage,
No, but that'd be things that would be imposed to. If your children don't watch this sex education at 3, you're a bigot. You're brainwashing them children to be homophobic and transphobic.
Well, yeah. Well, that's the other problem. I just realized it's not like comedy. It's just shock. It's shock value, but they're trying to actually make a point to say we're right. Okay. I think you messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I do know everything that happens has its consequence, and these people will meet their consequence.
The way the liberals are living, if there's one good thing, guys, they won't be reproducing much.
Yeah. Well, I long for the days where kids used to play with toy guns and firecrackers and skate and drink from hoses, and the stupid was called out of society.
Mm,
But no,
yeah.
no, the truth is, man, we've become such a babyfied society and such a spoiled society, such an upside down society, and the entitlement is just out the door, man.
So you mean like when you're having rock battles and stuff, they're gonna
Yeah,
have trannies like
yeah,
oh that. I don't know if you had that. There were always some kids that were willing to throw rocks at each other, like at a construction site or something. I have no
yeah.
idea why, but imagine like a transvestite on your side or whatever. You'd be like, what? Wait a minute. It wouldn't seem right. Snowball battles. I know it's a little lighter, but yeah, it's kind of like going four-wheeling with a transvestite. That just seems wrong. You know?
Oh my goodness. Or hunting. I can't
Especially if
hardly.
they were better, I'd be like, oh, that's it. We're going home. What do you mean you got 4 deer already? Get out of here.
Yeah,
Never bringing you again.
in their sundress.
4 deer with 1 shot. We're out of here. That's it. No, I mean, it would be, yeah, I try to be accepting and all, but that would be really difficult.
Yeah.
If life got like that.
I had one guy imply, he says, well, you people are just so full of hate. I said, I don't see where you get hate over somebody bringing this up and disagreeing with men beating up women. It has nothing to do with hate. I don't care if a person is transvestite. I don't care if they're transgender. I don't care if they're gay. I don't care if they're bi. It doesn't matter to me at all. It doesn't affect me. I said, I treat people like people. I don't ask them what gender they are or what color they are or, what
Right,
their
right.
sexual proclivity is. It doesn't matter. I treat people like people, but I have a voice and I have a mind. And this is wrong. It's not right that men should be in women's sports dominating.
Right.
It's not right at all. I literally see no difference than, a bunch of has-beens or a bunch of punks, man, that, 20-year-old punks that can't get a job, don't want to do anything. They're entitled. They want recognition. They want money. So they form their own little football team and they identify as 8-year-olds and they just beat the crap and mop up the little kiddies off the field,
I'm going to have to love and leave you,
Oh,
beloveds. So,
Well, brother,
have a good one. And
God bless you, my friend. And I sure hope that y'all can get something done about that. We are just going down the toilet, brother. Society
yeah. I
is.
hope things work out somehow, Bill. It's
I think we're at eat, drink, and be merry for tomorrow the Lord returns mode.
got
All right, look after yourselves and God bless, and I'll catch you both later.
God bless you, my friend.
Have a good day, Bill. Good evening.
And sometime really soon in the next few days or something, I want to do a little a study on sexual sins because I think that's a really important study. And
Yeah.
it's it's applicable in a lot of things, even in our studies of angels and demons and etc. But there's something that's said, Bruce, have you ever thought about the scripture that says that every sin that a man does is without the body, that he that commits fornication is sinning against his own body?
Yeah, yeah.
Can I ask what your impression of that scripture is?
Committing sin against his own body. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. What's your thought?
I really, I'm well, when I think about it, and I can only come up with this, that he's basically saying, because he goes on to say, because uh, what you eat goes into your belly and it's brought out in your excretion,
Mm-hmm.
but he that commits fornication is sinning against his own body. Um, what I think that is, I think it's saying that everything that we do, all of the sins that we could possibly do, boil down to uh, our heart. Like, for instance, is murder the sin, or was the real sin the hatred that you harbored in your heart, and the murder was just the manifestation of that hatred? You see what I'm saying?
Right, right.
So that's how I kind of take it. That these things may manifest physically, but it's not because of some physical thing. These things are coming forth from your heart. And the only way you can sin with your body is by fornicating, because then you are literally becoming one with that person.
Right, right, right.
That's the way I take it. But I'm just, I think it's interesting, because it really does imply we tend to think of sin more on the level of, well, you robbed that store, that was your sin, or you beat
Right.
up this person, that was your sin. No, I think the sin was what we harbored in our heart that made us do those things, and those were simply the manifestations of our sin.
Right, right.
Yeah.
What I know, with talking about the transvestites and all that, and what is your? I mean, lately I've noticed you've had a lot of interest in that. I wonder what has brought that on. Do you think?
Well, our freedoms in America. Number one, I really feel for women, because I really
Right,
honestly feel like they're becoming second-class citizens, and if this is within their own gender, and the trans people have the right now to stand in there and beat up women. And I think that's horrible. That's horrible. That's abominable. These are women's sports. And so I feel like I have to stand up for women. Plus, women are being dehumanized. I have 2 daughters and I have granddaughters, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
And, these women are they're being dehumanized by being called trans women and related to guys, as though this group of people saying that these guys are actually superior to these women, to real women. And when they're using words and they're really putting out videos talking about how their breasts are superior, their lower sexual parts are superior, things like this, and that their sex is superior. They really are doing this. I'm not kidding you.
So their breasts are bigger and firmer, I guess, or whatever. I'm not trying to be ignorant. I'm just saying maybe they're
Yeah.
tighter or something, but whatever. I mean, well, why couldn't they could do that with a woman if that's what she wanted to do? I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
But aside from what I see is,
Ridiculous.
yeah, you brought up a fact about the Jews being dehumanized, and that's very true. And in this case, I think women are being dehumanized in the same way. But and that scares me. That's a frightening trend. But there's more than that. Constitutionally speaking, I've said my vows, brother, to defend my nation, and that vow never dies. And here I see my Constitution falling apart, is failing everybody. It's our laws that are failing people. It's not our Constitution. It's our representatives. And now they're telling me we're in danger of going the same way as Canada and other places. They're trying to make a law that if you quote unquote misgender somebody, you're going to jail.
Oh,
And then,
bull crap.
yeah, they are. And then
I
they're
just
trying
call it an hit. Like, I don't care.
yeah.
You know, I mean, yeah, you say hi, whatever. I won't really refer to them as male or female, and whatever.
Well, I mean, if I have to say, well, he had to go to the store, I'm not going to say she, and yet they're demanding that I do. They're trying to pass a law that says I have to say she. And I can't do that, brother. Number one, I'm not going to reinforce somebody's delusion. Number two, I'm not going to further alienate real women and make them second class citizens. And number three, I'm not going to be told what I have to say. That I can't think for
I,
myself,
yeah, I guess it depends on what kind of situation you're in and where you live and all that, and how much is around you. I'd probably,
Yeah.
personally, if you can, I would just avoid. Generally speaking, I mean, if I guess it's like you had a shop or something set up and somebody came in like that, I don't know. I'd probably just be like, hey, what's up? You know, whatever. You know, I probably wouldn't. I'd probably not refer too much, or they went. I wouldn't really. I'd try to avoid the he she thing myself, but it came in the shop. What do you mean it? It?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
Bruce Jenner, Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah, yeah.
Now I would call him Caitlyn. I would. If that's his name, he changed his name legally. That's fine. I might slip and call him Bruce because I remember him as Bruce. And I had
Yeah.
one time kind of like I was proud of him as an American, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I won't refer to him as a her. Now
Well,
I
I
saw.
do wonder if it'll become a thing where like the fad wears off and people just get tired. I'd like to think that would happen. I don't know.
Well, it's getting more louder and louder and stronger and stronger. And they actually have tried to introduce bills making it illegal to call a him if they want to be called a her. But when I've got to stand for free speech. I've got to. I have no choice. So, and then it's this. These people have serious problems, and somebody has to address these problems.
Well, I mean, what's the percentage of these kind of people? And I wonder to what degree they. Yeah, I don't know how bad it'll get or what the percentages are or anything like that. I don't know. And
Well,
then you bring up the really young, like children and stuff. That's like unbelievable. Yeah,
yeah,
that
yeah,
is.
yeah. It's just getting ridiculous in every aspect of society, and our own government is letting parents begin to transition these kids. Now, I just recently subscribed to a transgender station channel on YouTube, and because I respect this guy, uh, he's a guy that had the operations to make him appear to be a woman. He went through all the drugs, he went through all the trials and everything, and he's just
Oh,
one of
that's the guy that's disappointed or something like you were talking about.
yeah, he's just one of the very, very many that are disappointed and not many of these people get ruined by the
Oh,
procedures and the
I'm
medicines.
thinking. No, yeah, it's. I don't know. I think.
But I saw Caitlyn in a debate with a trans activist that demands you call them their pronoun and whatever. Believe it or not, Caitlyn Jenner was debating this other trans young guy against the old guy, and Caitlyn was ridiculing him, saying, "You can't force people to do this. You can't caricature women like that. You did not spend, say, 200 as a girl. You are a guy. You are," and he admits that he is a guy. So, at least I can,
Wow, that's interesting. The
yeah,
majority, I'm just looking at something if it's even worthwhile. It shows the majority are close down near Florida, and then over in the West Coast, and then up near maybe it's Maine, Vermont, that area. and then
Yeah.
some in the central. Yeah,
But
yeah, I don't know.
there's
Crazy. But it's like there's 102,000 in Florida, and
wow.
out towards California, 81,000 supposedly.
Well, I am glad to see that some of the woke are becoming a little less woke, and they're actually standing up for a little common sense here. Some of them
Well,
are.
I did wonder if some of them will get. Yeah, like I said, I'd like to hope it's some type of goofy phase we're going through in history. It just screwball people that it fades off or something somewhat.
Yeah. Well,
I don't.
yeah, these things aren't issues that I'm going to try to spend a lot of time on, but they are issues I just want to be a little bit steady on and not neglect it.
I
So
don't agree with it, but at least I can maybe comprehend that it happens with more adults, but with youth, that's where I just go, boy, that's yeah, it's pretty weird.
yeah, if a person wants to go through the operations and the hormones and the blockers and what have you, if they're an adult, they're entitled to make their own decisions in life. I have no
Right,
problem with
right.
that. I don't. I think they're making a mistake. I wish they would reach out to God instead. But that's the extent of it. I have nothing against them. I don't think bad of them. But when it comes to children, our brains aren't even fully formed until we're like, what, 21? But
Probably somewhat.
yeah, but when it comes to toddlers and kids, preteens and things like that, my gosh, I mean, maybe we could debate the 16 and 17-year-old, but people that are younger than that making such rash decisions, such that can't be reversed. I mean, they can't be they can be somewhat reversed, but they end up getting messed up even worse. And that's a fact. Believe it or not, when they do the castration of a guy to try to make him appear to be a woman, they sometimes use the very same thing, and they use this on kids now. They use the very same thing that they use on convicts when they do the chemical castration on rapists. I
Jeez.
kid you not. That's the honest truth.
Wow.
Not to mention the fact that they block their hormones, testosterone or estrogen, whichever.
You think people just be happy with what they are? Well, I would think, but
yeah, they should try or at least receive a little bit of emotional and mental treatment. I'd be all for trying to help and counsel these people uh, to at least let them come to peace with themselves. When people can't come to peace with themselves, we blame it on everything. How I look, I got too much weight, I'm ugly, I'm fat, or, my hair's weird, my nose is big.
all
What?
right.
We gotta learn to be happier with ourselves somehow. At least say, okay, I've got some disadvantages, but I'm going to work in my areas of my talent, where I excel. We could at least do that.
Yeah. I mean, well, plastic surgery's a good ways away from what we're talking about now, though.
Well, yeah, but body dysphoria is still, I mean, it can take place for a number of reasons. It doesn't just have to be because you feel like you're a woman in a man's body. All of that is,
Right.
that is part of it. Uh, just kind
I
of.
don't think it helped Michael Jackson any. I don't think he had to go through all that.
Nope, it didn't. I felt sorry for Michael.
Yeah.
Now
Pretty messed up.
yeah. What's that, bro?
Pretty messed up.
Yeah. What gets me is literally. I mean, I try to give credit where it's due. He was literally one of the most talented performers that's ever lived, and and yet, look at the problems that he had. If this doesn't argue the case for God and Christ, man, I don't know what does.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, what can you do actually? Except I do think you should be allowed to make a mistake or something and call somebody a he or she or whatever the heck's going. You shouldn't get in trouble if you don't word things right or you don't want to, or like my case, I'd probably just rather not address it. And,
Yeah. Well, some people are happy-go-lucky, and if you want to be like if
but if I got in
somebody-
trouble for it, that would irritate me. Like, well, you have to say this and this. No,
yeah,
no,
yeah, that's what I'm talking
no.
about. We at least let me make my own choice. Let me
Yeah,
make
you
my
made
own
yours. Let me make mine. And what do
Yeah.
I see?
exactly. But when people that's what they're trying to do. That's the only reason I'm spending a little time on this, because I just feel it is important, and I can't overstress, Bruce, how I feel kind of concerned for women in general. I mean, literally, if this trend kept going unchecked and it just kept increasing, and they kept saying that the trans people were superior over real women, and kept referring to them as cis women versus trans women. Uh, I can only, I can't see any good coming from that in 50 years. I can only see that just leads to nothing good.
Right, right. Well, yeah, it's hard to say where things will go with that. I
Yeah.
don't know.
So how have you been? Let's just change the subject for a few minutes and tell me about you, brother. How have you been?
Doing okay. Doing all right. Yeah, I was thinking about. I wanted to make a video before it gets too late today. Something to maybe draw some attention to Rob's reading and stuff he's doing, and his Jesus videos. He has a thing that runs all day, and so he's playing music and different things, and people sharing the gospel and that kind of thing. So I'd like to try to make a video. I mean, I have a pretty small channel, but get some people maybe going over to check that out more.
Isn't that new channel something like ilovejesus.com?
That might be.
I know I've got it on my favorite.
All day. I think it's All Day Jesus.
That's it. Yeah. That's it. Alldayjesus.com.
Yeah.
That's it. That's here on YouTube, folks. Alldayjesus.com with brother Rob Reed. That's his new channel. But he's also got a channel where he does daily Bible study, Bible reading, I should say. And he plays music. He's a wonderful musician and excellent singer, very talented man, very humble man. And I sure appreciate him.
Yeah,
And when I'm out here dealing with atheists all day, brother Bruce, I'll tell you, some of these things that I deal with from the time I get up to the time I go to bed, I feel like I've walked through a cesspool, a sewer all day long. I literally mean that. And it's like I literally am thirsty and in a desert, with very few of anything to offer any pleasure or refreshment. But when I hang with you brothers, when I hear Brother Rob's music, and when I share the fellowship with you guys, that does feed me, and that does quench my thirst.
Well, that's stuff like I heard you talking with Dirty Varmint and what the other guy is, Dave's philosophy and stuff. That stuff can be pretty taxing.
Yeah, it can be.
I think it's often harder for me, I think, than talking with atheists.
Yeah. Well, I do both. Atheists and heretics, I specialize. I made a mistake a long time ago, brother, and I say a mistake jokingly, but I was really in a hurry. I was really desperately wanting to serve God, and I couldn't find anything, brother. I couldn't find my spot. And I was just so frustrated. I told the Lord, I said, God, I'll take anything. I don't care what it is. Please, I'll take the jobs nobody wants. Just I'll scrub your toilets. I'll take out your trash. And I meant that
right,
literally,
right.
I was not playing. That was not rhetorical. And so now you see I do what I do, man. I'm dealing with atheists and people like Dirty Varmint. Um, and at the end of the day, I do feel awful. I do feel icky, filthy, gross, pathetic, shaking my head at the world, unbelievable, shocked at the way things are. Never would have figured this 20 years ago, brother. Never.
You mind my asking? Like you said, dealing with the heretics, is that somewhat difficult to determine, though? At times, I mean, who's a heretic, and where do
Well,
you?
I don't. When it comes to people believe that, brother, if we have just differences in doctrine, I don't care. I don't refer to them as heretics. That's not my business. My business is to be a good Berean and come together with my brothers and sisters and share. That's my job. But
Well, I guess I'll just mention, because I know the term heretic's often thrown around pretty
yeah,
loosely, almost, by some people. Yeah,
well,
it's
that's true.
tough to
I'm very selective.
determine sometimes.
When I use the word heretic, brother, I'm talking about people that deny certain principles, like they don't hold to certain principles. Like, for instance, if they say that they're throwing out the books of Paul because they disagree with the words of Christ, and then if they say that they doubt the resurrection and that you can reject the resurrection and still be saved, you can deny the resurrection and still be saved. And if they say those things and then they base those things on a verse from like Matthew, Mark, and Luke, I have to stand in amazement, because Matthew, Mark, and Luke all tell about the resurrection.
Right.
Okay? They all tell about the death and resurrection of Christ. So they're, in other words, they're taking tiny little snippets out of context, and just little snippets of little pieces, like half a verse here and half a verse there. And they take it out of context in isolation from all the other verses around it. And then they say they pigeonhole this one word here to mean one thing when it really means something else. And they use that to say Paul lied about this. Then I have to
That's irritating.
Yeah. Then I have to point out that what you're doing is taking your imagination and tiny little snippets from a book that you said you don't trust, because these books all tell us about the resurrection.
Well, that's what you were talking with the one guy, and he was saying the resurrection wasn't important. I guess that it was more of a story or something. I forget what he was saying exactly. I was listening to that.
Yeah,
well, talking to those guys. Yeah.
They came right out and said you could deny it. So,
well, is there? I know it's. I'm getting nitpicky, but for instance, there's been times where I'd look at the resurrection. I think, boy, that's hard to believe, though.
Yeah.
And so my way to deal with that was, I thought, well, if God created everything from, at least best I can comprehend it, or somewhat understand, from nothing, that God always existed, well, then he could certainly resurrect from the dead.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, from my mind, that was my way to work through it, because I don't see miracles and stuff happening, at least this day and age, too much. Pretty rare that we see something that seems believable. So, a body lifting and raising from the dead, you go, well, that seems kind of hard to believe. But as the creator of the universe, I figure, well, then I got to accept that. Certainly could happen.
Well, Satan is the master of deception and doubt, brother. He is. We know that.
Sure.
And he never rests. And there's always times he's going to throw a little prick at us, But Well, it's what
Well,
we
when
do.
somebody just denies it and says it outright didn't happen, I think
Yeah.
that's different than.
Or if they say, I seriously doubt it. Or if they say, it's okay to preach that he didn't, or whatever the case may be. But if a person, here's another thing.
And these guys are also, I don't, the lack of a better term or something, they're on fire to preach what they're saying too. They're not. It's not like somebody who's in question. It's like they think they know, and they preach it with authority. You know what I mean by that kind of.
That's exactly what I'm talking
That's what's
about.
weird about. That's what's weird to me about. Hey, knock it off.
Hey, that sounds like a big old feller, man.
He's acting kind of woke all there. No, it wasn't a woke bark.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about though with woke. They are assertive and they are demanding and they do say that these things are right. And when they say
that's what I was getting at.
yeah, but when they say that when they base that on verses coming from the books that claim the resurrection and then claiming the other and the other thing,
Right.
they may not have been accurate.
Right.
Then they're pulling from books they don't even trust. That's pretty hypocritical. In other words, nothing they have there is anything they trust. Nothing. And I just find that ironic and stupid. I'm not calling them stupid because they're obviously not stupid men. But that is stupid because you're painting yourself in a corner that you can't get out of. And that's exactly what they've done. So they have nothing credible to give you in that argument, dude. Nothing at all.
Yeah, I don't even look at those guys as woke. I don't know what I call it. I don't know. It's certainly different.
Yeah.
They don't come across real liberal to me, at least so far that I've noticed. I don't know.
So you been playing any music lately, brother?
What's that?
You been playing any music lately?
No, I haven't really done that too much. I mean, I sit around and play my guitar and stuff. And today a guy came over and he, instead of learning stuff, we were trying to work with him, showing him how to dial in sounds and tones he wanted for different sounds, and just playing around with amplifier settings and stuff that he could distortion more and less, and muddy versus bright and mid-rangey tones. That kind of just trying to dial in tone, that he could just dial it in on his own without, and that's just something he wanted to learn today and see how that goes. So I was working on that today some, and usually I just pick up my guitar once in a while, just bang around on it here and there, and I don't plug it in too much. Sometimes I do. Yeah, should probably do some things. Yeah,
brother,
oh, you're getting ready to roll, huh?
I do think I got to. Yeah, I got to tend to something. It looks like.
All right.
I'll look for everybody a little bit later on, brother. And God bless you. I appreciate you, Bruce.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you.
God bless you, my friend. And
God
I look
bless
forward
you.
to next time. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Have a good day. Thank you, Eric.
You too. Would you like to close us out in prayer?
Sure. Yes. I thank you, Lord, for this time. Thank you for your blessings and your convictions and your being there for us. And just thank you, Lord, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. God bless you, Bruce. See you later, brother.
All right. Bye now.
And everybody else, God bless you. We love you. And we're so glad that you're part of the family, man. Thank you. Bye-bye. This is Eric and family saying goodbye to you and yours.